Hi, my name is Ruby Meyer, and today I'll be talking about contact sports and the effect of them on the human brain. CTE, or chronic traumatic encephalopathy, is a brain degeneration that is believed to be linked to repeated head trauma. Although many people have not heard about CTE until recently, it has been showing up in famous athletes for generations. This brain degeneration can change a person completely, but can only be diagnosed until after an autopsy is performed. Despite this brain degeneration being a mystery to some doctors, the symptoms and the causation is well known due to the many cases that NFL has given health professionals to study over the years. Symptoms of this disease can mimic the symptoms of dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Personality changes such as aggression, memory loss, and inability to make rational decisions are just a few symptoms that have been linked to CTE. As well as noticeable outside changes, this disease makes significant changes to the structure of your brain. People with CTE have shown a decrease in brain mass as well as a buildup of tau protein. Tau protein is naturally found inside of your brain, but with the buildup, it can cause destruction of your brain cells. This information came from Marcia Clement in Traumatic Brain Injury for CQ Researcher. On this slide, on the left, we have a picture of a normal brain during an autopsy, and then on the right is a brain during an autopsy that had advanced CTE. Now that you know how serious this brain disorder is, let's talk about how common it is. CTE is not as recent as many people believe it is. This disease was first discovered in 1928 by Dr. Harrison Martland when he diagnosed a group of boxers as having punch-drunk syndrome. The research then continued for this phenomenon found in boxers. Dr. MacDonald Critchley was the first to refer to punch-drunk syndrome as the name we know it by today, CTE. More attention was drawn to the unknown brain disease when 15 more retired boxers were confirmed to have CTE. Although first discovered in boxers, it has been more recently and abundantly found in NFL players. CTE became mainstream in the early 2000s when Dr. Bennett Omalu found the first identifiable case in Pittsburgh Steelers player Mike Webster. First found in boxers and then later in football players, neuropathologists were able to draw the connection that this brain disorder is linked to multiple head traumas. With this new information, doctors were then able to look at contact sports such as hockey and wrestling, and then draw another conclusion that people that have experienced physical abuse or traumatic military experiences could also experience CTE. On this left, we have a picture of Mike Webster before his retirement, hitting a player head first. And then right here is a picture of pro boxer Matthew Macklin moments before he is knocked out after a punch to his temple. Despite some information coming out many years ago, CTE was really defined recently. Football has been known to be a difficult sport on the body, leading to many injuries throughout a player's career. Despite the rules of safety and the huge protective equipment these players use, it is often not enough to protect their body, much less their brain. A hard hit from another player on the field can cause the brain to ricochet in the skull. This type of repeated movement to the brain is what has been linked to CTE. Although almost unheard of until recently, it is extremely common for NFL, college, and even high school football players to have signs of CTE in their brain. In a study done in Boston, the disease was identified in 110 out of 111 deceased former NFL players who donated their brains to science. This information came from Mark Diaz Truman in One Hit Too Many, The Moral Responsibility of Football for Harvard Kennedy School Review. Most recently, former New England Patriot tight end Aaron Hernandez was diagnosed with an extremely advanced stage of CTE. Aaron shocked the world when he seemingly threw away everything that he had worked hard for. He is the demonstration of CTE affecting cognitive skills and even becoming aggressive and violent through the disease. Boston University announced in their medical conference about Hernandez that he had stage 3 CTE. He was the first person of his age to be diagnosed with something like that. Usually that advanced of a stage was found in people in their 40s and 50s. Aaron Hernandez was an extremely sad case, but it gave a lot of insight researchers and doctors about what this disease really is. Through studying his brains, they were able to conclude that this degenerative disease can develop at a severely young age, as well as change the person's level of aggression and ability to make clear decisions. So on the right, we have a picture of a normal 27-year-old brain during an autopsy, and then right there is Aaron Hernandez, his brain following his death. As you can see, the buildup of tau protein and the shrinkage of the brain and the hole in the middle of it are all present, so it's a significantly bad case of CTE. This picture is one of his multiple head injuries during Aaron's career. In this one, his helmet actually came off during the hit to his head. For a demonstration, say that this is Aaron Hernandez or anybody that plays football in the United States or anywhere. This is their head. When they hit somebody on the field head first, it shakes their brain inside of their skull and affects their frontal lobe. The frontal lobe is what's responsible for clear decision making. Now that there is new information, there is one major issue we should be concerned about. Football is an extremely popular sport, not just at the professional level, but also at the college, high school, and even at the Pee Wee level. There's a danger in letting little kids play a sport that could lead to such a serious disease as CTE. It has been estimated that 8 to 15% of children play football. Although this does not sound like a lot when compared to child population in the US, this is around 4 to 8 million children involved in this dangerous activity. So why are we letting kids play football if we know they could literally destroy their brain? Many parents believe that it is essential to a child's life to learn these kinds of social and physical skills, but football is one of the sports where the cons outweigh the pros. As children get older and move up in football, there is more pressure to perform through injuries. Our society looks at playing through pain as something heroic, often saying taking one for the team. This small part of American culture is the reason that NFL doctors routinely hand out prescription pain pills to players that have been injured to ensure that they play through their next game. Toradol injections have been named the NFL's drug of choice. This is a fast-working painkiller typically given to star players such as Aaron Hernandez to ensure that they will get up and play through their next game. This is an extremely dangerous field to put children into because you're opening them up to not only brain disease and disorders, but also body injury that is so severe that you need Toradol injections just to get up and play the game. This information came from Tyler Dune in the NFL's Drug of Choice by the Bleacher Report. With all this being said, it's important to understand the biggest danger coming from football is CTE. Despite football being one of the most popular sports in America, there is some serious danger associated with it. CTE has recently emerged as a major threat to anyone that plays football at any level. There have been new updates of information as there have been more brains to study, but sadly this degenerative disease is still very unknown. Doctors have been unable to find if there are people that are more susceptible to getting this disease, or if the only factor is the repeated head trauma. What we do know from this disease is that it will not only physically destroy your brain, but it will alter you as a person. It is important that we take steps to protect ourselves and future generations from suffering from this disease. Thank you.